So today we're going to be making a review of my Subaru WRX. Obviously I'm not in it because I don't own it anymore. I traded that in, but I saw a few videos of people doing like a review of their car and like at 100,000, 200,000 miles. And I figured, man, these are mostly stock. Tell my side of tell my side from a modified point of view of a pretty fairly built car on stock internal, stock turbo. But yeah, this will be my review at 100,000 miles and my issues or lack thereof for owning the car. A little something different today. I'm just recording off of this because it's cold and windy, but even to that effect, I'll still make a video. So this is going to be my 100,000 mile review for a, we'll say built, full bolt-on, whatever that means anymore, WRX. Now, obviously behind me is not a WRX. This is the new whip. This is a 2016 S550 with 25,000 miles on it. So I traded the Subaru in for this, figured I'd cash in right when the market was hot. And I already knew what I wanted, had a plan as to what I wanted to do with what I wanted. Capitalized on that, got a great deal, boom, out the door, see you, bye. Now why I did that? Not because the car had issues. That car at 100,000 miles burnt 0 oil. And now some of you probably hear me say that, they're like, what are you talking about? 0 oil, and that car made 370 wheel horsepower and torque on E85. It didn't do that for that long. I had it probably for 3 or 4 months after my final tune, power numbers, etc. But I had a absolutely stupid amount of parts into that car, not like a good healthy amount for supporting mods and cosmetic mods, and it was phenomenal. I'm on this car now. I had a thing for V8s my whole car guy life, and this was just, I felt like with all the stuff I've read, researched, blah blah blah, this was like the perfect fit, especially as a tuner car, i.e. the S550. Gen 1's pretty good. All the Coyotes are really good. Gen 1's good, but it's requires a little more finagling. Gen 2, Gen 3 is obviously, you see everybody just doing stupid things with those cars. So these cars, I have one now. It's only been a little bit. But yeah, it is a phenomenal car. I traded the Subaru in for it because it was just the right time. Now, the only issue I ever had with that car, remember, it didn't chew any oil, no blue smoke, no nothing, ran great. The only thing I ever had to do major to fix, and not even fix, is more or less replace, was the clutch. I went through like 4 clutches, not because they were broken. Well, the OEM clutch at 50,000 miles went, and that was when I started doing power modifications. That went, put in a beefier clutch, got more power, and needed a new clutch again after that. And then, oh yeah, one of them, the second clutch I put in was a Clutch Masters. So that one actually needed to be replaced. It got destroyed within 30,000 miles because of the combination of the lightweight flywheel and that clutch. That was partially my doing, partially daily driving it. Lightweight flywheels, I mean, depending on the platform, as far as I could see, Subarus do not like lightweight flywheels at all. Awful. Terrible. I don't know why. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? You're an Audi guy, or you're a V8 guy or something like that. From my experience, your experience may differ. Subarus, specifically the VA FA chassis, Did not like it. All right. Whether it was just clutch masters. Actually, no. That was an ACT lightweight flywheel. It was a street light. But as far as I'm concerned, also clutch masters. Crap. So on the fourth final clutch that I put in that car, I finally put in a Clutch Masters FX 350, one of those. It was rated for 480 torque at the crank, and it held it, but what was the issue I had? The tolerances on the pressure plate were, I think, just too big for some reason, because it caused the throwout bearing to constantly vibrate on the input shaft, or on the input shaft, I guess, the guide portion. And I destroyed 2 throwout bearings with the PDK input shaft sleeve that I had on there. Not the sleeve. The sleeve was fine. That's billet. That was never even gouged, but the throwout bearing exploded, not on the bearing part, but on the guide plastic inside, on the inner diameter of it that slid up and that rides on the input shaft. That caused that, for some reason, it constantly touched it no matter how much I adjusted the pedal and did everything I could to replace it. Now, remind you, I replaced the throwout fork, the pivot ball, and everything. Anytime I did a clutch, I replaced everything. And that was the only thing. As the friction plate was great, the pressure plate was the issue. So before that, I had a stage 3 South Bend daily. It was a great clutch, absolutely phenomenal. But then as soon as I put E85 in the car and made the power numbers that I was, it just started slipping like a little bit. Took that out, and there was like barely any wear on the clutch, just a tiny heat ring. Swapped it out, put the clutch masters in, turned into be a horrible idea. Chewed up the bearings, and then after taking the transmission off like eight times in a week, not in a week, I should say like 7 times in a week or some crap like that. It was an astronomical amount, to the point where I got the transmission in and out, start to finish, in 4 hours flat. I had the idea, after calling numerous manufacturers and explaining to them my issue, and them having no idea what I was talking about. I said, screw it, I'm pretty sure I could do this, but I took the Clutch Masters pressure plate off and put the South Bend one on, because I still had the whole clutch assembly. Voila. Everything was fine. I had the Clutch Masters friction plate in there still, and the car ate. The car dug like a monster. Not dug literally. I never launched that car. I did once in the snow, but that's different. So yeah, that thing was an animal after that. And then once I finally sorted that out, I was like, I'm done. Not with this platform. It was a good platform to learn on. Traded in, got this. But yeah, I mean, for those of you who want to know whether or not my engine was special, I don't know. But I'll tell you what I did do to keep it from chewing oil. Catch can, knowing what to look out for, what to listen for, what kinds of oils I used, when I changed the oil, and then ignition stuff like spark plugs. I was on top of the basics that everybody tells you to it. Like, I was on top of my shit. Spark plugs all the time, always checked them, even if they didn't need it. Just peace of mind. Oil, I used, for a little bit, I used AMS oils. I used the 10W40 actually this past summer, the final summer I had it, because it was just so hot. So I used the 10W40 when I was running an E85, or I knew it was racing or something like that. Worked great. But other than that, I used 540. I used Liquimoly 5W40, the high leak something. I'll put a picture right here. That's the stuff. Great. Absolutely great. Phenomenal oil. She was always happy. So if you're wondering whether or not you should get into the platform, I think you should. Head gaskets are non-existent And for people that are actually in the know, head gasket issues are only in the non-turboed variants of the EJ motor. So just because you buy an STI or WRX does not mean you are going to blow head gaskets. Now, people blowing their motors up. All the kids I knew or seen that had a blown Subaru were 18 to 20-year-olds that were launching them light to light, beating the absolute piss out of these cars. I know 4 of them personally. No names. That'd be messed up. But launching them, probably not doing spark plugs and oil either when they're supposed to. I did mine 3,000 miles on the dot. Oil change. Changed my oil 3,000 miles. I had the trip meter. I had always reset it, trip A, to 0. And then once I hit 3,000, boom, that's an oil change right there. Reset it, do it all over again. So, and I think that is in the 10 commandments of being a car guy and working on your cars, especially when you're modifying them. Change your oil religiously and at the same time every time. Because, yeah, Subarus blow up. You can blow up anything. You can blow up a 2JZ by not changing the oil and beating the crap out of them. Yeah, you may not send a rod through the block because it's iron block, but that thing will be crumpled up inside there, folded. But yeah, I love this thing. I love the Subaru platform. Literally, that's the only thing. Look out for, if you get a WRX, watch out for the 5 speeds. Those tend to be glass transmissions. The 2015 plus WRXs though, there's this new 6-speed. Almost as Billy Badass as the STI transmission, the 6-speed, but plenty of power. You got to rebuild the motor before you got to rebuild the trans, as long as you're not beating shit out of them. Oh yeah, I use AMSOIL 7590. So, yeah, 7590 in the case and transmission, and the diff, and then in the washer fluid reservoir. Yeah. Probably noticed that I got louder. Caesar, you were right. It did need more loud. Got the H-pipe. I don't think it really needs an H-pipe or anything.
You don't think so?
No. What?
It does.
If I had the valves, definitely.
It sounds good, but it needs more loud.
We'll see.
More loud.